Welcome back to Matchday Live with Chelsea in action this evening against Sheffield United in the race for the top four, and every single point counts. It's getting close now. Win tonight, get a result Tuesday evening, and then we're very, very nearly there. So this is the team that Frank Lampard has selected for the Blades Challenge this evening. Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, Reece James, Andreas Christensen, Kurt Zuma, and captain Cesar Azpilicueta. Jorginho returns alongside Ross Barkley and Mason Mount in midfield. Willian, Tammy Abraham and Christian Pulisic leading the line for Chelsea tonight. On the bench, Willy Caballero, Antonio Rudiger, Marcos Alonso, Lewis Bates, Mateo Kovacic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Olivier Giroud and Michy Batshuayi. So the big news, of course, is that Jorginho starts. Liv, I'm guessing that's been a good little mention, but also the fact that Tammy's back in the starting 11. I'm sure a lot of people on social media are being quite positive about that because he's played well without reward, really, other than his goal on Tuesday night.
Well, it was nice. I think it was nice for him to get back in the goals, wasn't it? Because I know he's been injured for a lot of 2020, but it has been quite a long time coming. A lot of social media I think it was almost split, but in a good way. They were just sympathy for Giroud because we all know how well Giroud's been playing. But as we were talking earlier, it's so many games in such a short space of time. Tammy scored 14? Might be wrong, something around that. 14 Premier League goals this season. He's a goal scorer and he will score goals, and he scored 2 against them earlier in the season. And so you couldn't understand why Frank Lampard's brought him in, and it's a change that we're still as strong. We're not any less. They offer different things, don't they, as strikers? They offer 2 completely different things, but we're not any weaker with Tammy, and we're not any. So that they offer they're both very good strikers, both proven, and that decision has been taken positively on social media. Some sympathetic with Giroud because he's been very good since the restart, but also very excited to see Tammy start as well.
Completely. Frank, as a defender, you've come up against tough tasks throughout your career. Who would you rather play up against, Tammy Abraham or Olivier Giroud? Because they offer very different things, don't they?
Yeah, that's a difficult one because obviously you have to consider the experience of Giroud. But if you're talking about the all-round centre forward, obviously Tammy's got more to his game with his movement and his ability to run in behind. At the moment, I'd say I'd rather play against Abraham because of his inexperience. You'd use that to your favour. But certainly, what I want to see from Tammy today, there's been games recently where I've looked at him and thought, I wish Giroud had started, or it's time to bring Giroud on. I'm hoping today that Tammy puts in a performance that we forget about Giroud and just, if he has to come on and play in the last stages of the game just to see us over the line, fair enough. But I don't want to be thinking while the game's going on, Giroud would have done better here and stuff like that. That's my honest opinion.
Pat's down at Sheffield United for us this evening. Pat, I know how much of a fan you are of Billy Gilmore. So obviously disappointment this week about Billy getting injured, but also I know how much of a fan of Jorginho you are. So how big is it for him to start today? And if he can carry on anything he did in the final 15 minutes against Crystal Palace, we're in for a lovely afternoon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. It's one of my favourite footballers playing football today, anywhere on the planet, Jorginho. I absolutely adore him. I adore the fact that he can control games of football. But it's going to be a tough one today because it's a game against a team. Yeah, they're just going to be fighting and battling. They're really physical. He's going to have a lot of real big help alongside him. But the fact that Ross has been good recently, Mason's shown great energy. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried in the players. I'm as excited about him in that midfield as I would be with any other player number 8. And I mentioned it the last few weeks. It almost doesn't matter. You turn any 3 of our 8 midfielders and it'll be absolutely fine. With Jorginho back, actually looked great the other day, and that's what with the right attitude should be good enough. I have no concerns, I have no worries, and we'll get round to the scores in a minute, but that's why I'm being bullish today.
I love it when you're bullish, Pat. We love that. That's the kind of energy and excitement we want. Jace. Because he was unbelievable, wasn't he?
He was superb. He was my man of the match, not just for that last-ditch tackle, but his heading ability, the way that he dominated his area. And I think that at times, defensively, we've lacked a little bit of a leader. Christensen is not that leader. At times, Rudiger comes across as though he might be, but at times, I think perhaps could be more of that leader. Kurt he went in there and he was the man, and he played like he was the man, and he was superb, brilliant. He's going to have to be on his game again today. It looks like they're going to play two up top as they tend to. McBurney's a handful. Billy Sharp's different, though he's not playing today. So McGoldrick has come in, and between the pair of them, between the pair of them, McBurney is going to be the one that's going to have that physicality. So it's that straight battle between the two. Defensively, I thought his headers and corners and set pieces, which we have to be good on, because they've got a record here. 5 of the last 10 corners, 5 of the last goals they've scored have come from corners at the last 10, and we've conceded the third most goals from corners. So Kurt has absolutely got to be on it. Going back to the debate about Tammy, Giroud defensively does that job very, very well. Tammy's going to have to step up as well.
Massively. I think, I'll tell you what, let's come on to our Predictor Live now, because we can see how we've all predicted this afternoon's going to go. Remember, you can head to chelseafc.com/predict for all the details. Prizes include the brand new 2021 home strip, and it is a dream this season, right? But the question is, can you beat our expert Matchday Live panel? Pat Nevin doing the little video from a golf course this week. I clocked it, Pat. Don't worry, mate. Look beautiful. Living the high life. That's all good. He's loving it. Absolutely loving it. We'll come back to you in a second, Pat, because I'll tell you what, let's start with what we've all gone for. I've gone 2-1. Liv's also gone 2-1. Zach, you've gone 3-2. Dan, 2-0. Pat, 3-1 Chelsea. Jason, 1-0. Frank, we haven't got yours yet, so I'll give you a couple of moments to just think about how you're going to predict today. And I'll start with Zach, because Zach, I love how excited you are about goals being in games. So tell me why you've gone 3-2 Chelsea today.
Well, if we'd played them at the start of the restart, I would have said that we'd kept a clean sheet. However, they've come into a bit of form. I watched them against Spurs, and they were, even though Spurs weren't great, they were pretty good. And against Wolves as well, they played fantastically. And it is those set pieces which really are worrying me. I hope Frank this week has just drilled them every time after training to make sure they're practicing their defending from set pieces. So I do think we're going to concede. I didn't want to go with my 4-0 or 3-0 predictions, just because I thought we'd had enough of them. The joke was over. I'm hoping, look, as long as it's a win, I'm really not that bothered. And I just hope we can sharp shop in some way, but I do think that we're going to concede.
Dan, you've gone 2-0, and I'm going to move on from Zach hastily, and Pat's gone 3 as well. But as we mentioned at the top of the show, they've conceded 14 goals in 17 home league games this season. But we've all gone from to concede today, obviously. But Jason's been the most cautious. So you've gone 2-0 today. What have you seen over the last couple of games that makes you think a 2-0 wins on the card tonight?
Well, I think we're coming into good form. Defensively, we look a bit more secure. I know there's been a couple of scares, but we've looked a bit more secure than we have in recent weeks. To be fair, I'm being optimistic as well, because I know in some ways our weakness is defending from set pieces. That is also probably their strengths. Yeah. So, look, deep down in my heart, I'm hopeful that we won't concede, but there's a part of me that thinks it's kind of inevitable. But I'm going with 2-0 because I just want to be positive. You know, I want this top 4 just over and done with. I'm going to put all the energy out there.
Liv, you've gone 2-1 tonight. Similar to Dan, but slightly more cautious. What have you seen this week that gives you a 2-1 prediction?
I think Dan's completely right. I think we've been better defensively. Zuma put in a top-class performance, and we did look more solid at set pieces against Crystal Palace. And I look at that first half an hour against Crystal Palace, and we were quality. We just looked in so much control. They didn't have anything, did they, until that wonder strike by Zaha. I do think, as we said, they're 7th for a reason. This is going to be a really tough game. As you said, JJ, they've conceded that amount of goals at home for a reason, because they are very solid defensively. Chris Wilder prides himself on a solid back 5 or back 3. And I think it's going to be tough, but I have seen enough from Chelsea since the restart to know scoring goals isn't our problem. Scoring goals has never been up. Well, we've had issues with it this season, but since the restart, we've been pretty solid at finding the back of the net. We've got strikers in form, we've got wingers in form as well. So I do think we'll score today. Gone for 2-1. It'll be tight. It will be. I would love it to be 3-0. I really would, but it's gonna be a tight game.
No, I'd love it to be 3-0. Yes, I don't think too many people disagree there.
Jay, you've gone slightly more conservative, but again, 1-0, and you've already trotted out a couple of not concerning, but a couple of statistics to show why Sheffield United are going to be so difficult to break down and beat today.
Yeah.
So you've gone 1-0.
Yeah, they don't concede many, they don't score many, but I don't think they're going to be good enough to break us down in open play. The one caveat to my scoreline there is set pieces. I made the point there, 5 of their last 10 goals have come from corners, and we are, let's be honest, we're vulnerable at times. Going into this game, I can't believe that Frank wouldn't have done hours of defensive work going into this, watching what they've done, specifically looking at how they approach set pieces. And I'd like to think that we go into this game, because we've looked a bit vulnerable, a little bit more prepared against the side we know what we're going to come up against. I think we'll have the lion's share of possession. Really crucial is going to be the spaces behind their wing backs. They love to push on their wing, Bulldog and Stevens. That's why I think Tammy's playing, because the space is going to be in those areas. Willian and Pulisic, if we can get in behind those fullbacks and start pushing them that way, because they're a brave team when they go forward. Really, really brave. But I've got the feeling that it's going to be tight. I think it's a game of few chances, and I just fancy us to nick this game.
Frank, I've given you long enough now to think about it, so I'm gonna not ask you for too much. I'm just gonna say, can you quickly give us a score, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more later on. So I'm gonna give you a little bit more time on that.
Yeah, I think they will score, so I'm gonna go with 3-1.
3-1. Okay, well, actually, you're doing my job for me then, Frank, because someone else has done 3-1. Lovely little interchange there, I'll tell you. Pat Nevin, Pat, 3-1 today. That's your prediction. Who are you going for first goal scorer? Because we can see that on Predictor at chelseafc.com/predict. We can see your first goal score prediction as well. Who have you gone with?
You have to remind me, because I can't remember who I said.
You've gone Tammy, I think, haven't you? You've gone Tammy and you've gone early.
Of course I did. I went Tammy early even before I knew the teams. That's the point. Because I felt that he would be starting. And I think we've just got a little bit of a run in the team now. And like Jason's point, I'm absolutely with Jason. I think the most important thing about this game is the fact that they play 3 at the back, and other teams haven't sussed it. They have been affected by it. But the way we play with 2 wide wingers, they either have to stay back marking our wingers, or else they let their centre-backs come out. Centre-backs don't like coming out into those situations, so we need to manipulate that situation. I think we're capable of doing it. I think the quality of crossing we're going to have, because Reece is playing as well, another reason why we have Tammy in. So lots and lots of positives. The reason why I think it's quite a few goals, as the season goes on, and players all get tired, you get more goals. And that's why I think there'll be quite a few goals. 3-1. And that was me being quite conservative. I nearly went for more than that.
Leave it, Pat, leave it. I'll tell you what, we are just minutes away from kickoff now. So if you're watching on Facebook, you'll need to download the Fifth Stand app to continue watching. Go get that sorted while we take a look at our top 5 goals against the Blades.
Towards Ballack, but it was so easy from that range. Almost a slow motion goal, and United just let him run. Could they make it a free kick? Lampard looking like he's sizing up the shot, and it's in! Somehow got past Kenny, denied a moment ago by the keeper's brilliance. This time it's gone through the Irishman. Chelsea have the lead. Nicholas. Wilson. This is Cassian Richards. And the press with that to Carvalho, and suddenly it's opened up for the big defender, if he can find a pass. And that's not a bad one, is it? Andrei Shevchenko! What a finish! Absolutely fantastic!
Langley to warm things up. Has worked so well for Chelsea. Here's Wilkins. Now what a shot that is! Oh, what a goal! Oh my word, what a goal! Well, Wilkins has run the length of the field and he's kicked the ball to the other end of the field. A tremendous volley there by Ray Wilkins. And what about that for a shot? 3-0.
They don't make them like Ray anymore, do they? What a hit, what a man. We are minutes away from kickoff up at Sheffield United. Chelsea in the Premier League hunt for a final few. Well, we need a couple more wins to secure Champions League football. It'd be very nice if it was stress-free and a lovely, comfortable evening, but it doesn't really happen at Sheffield United this season. So every time I mention it, I can see Liv's face go, please.
It doesn't happen at Sheffield United, but it also doesn't happen at Chelsea. I think that Watford game was the one where we were like, I can actually relax, but I can't remember many others.
It's going to be a tough afternoon. We're prepared for that. You know, Jason, I know that you've seen, you've kind of spoken quite a lot about Chris Wilder and your admiration for him. I think